Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my Pokemon Fire Red playthrough. In the last episode, I attempted to take down the Elite Four, but unfortunately my team was so underleveled that it just wasn't possible. Between the last episode and this episode, I've done, well, I said I needed to do some off-camera grinding, and I have. So, first of all, you'll notice, Andy and Henry have been completely neglected, and there's a big reason for this why. Out of all of the Elite Four's Pokemon, Andy only has one Pokemon he actually matches up well against, and even then it is a 50-50 chance that he will win. So there was no point in me trying to level him up. He is unfortunately a bit of a lost cause for the Elite Four. Henry is similar. Henry at least has 3 Pokemon he does do well against, but unfortunately he doesn't do as well as other members on my team. I grinded Henry up a little bit, so he's level 44, and he also learnt Mega Horn, which I replaced with, well, Horn Attack. And he's not doing too bad. Next up we have Tachi, who has grown 4 levels. Tachi now has the move I wanted, which is Extreme Speed. This is a very useful move, especially throughout the majority of the later part of the Elite Four. And I was tempted to teach Tachi Overheat instead of Takedown, but I've opted out of it. And lastly, we have the 2 that have grown the most, Electro and Cole. Electro and Cole are single-handedly the 2 best Pokemon I have for this Elite Four. So, they were the 2 that got the most amount of training. Cole has grown so much now that they can basically shrug off hits as if they're nothing. Electro, on the other hand, is now a powerhouse, and will basically be taking out the majority of the Pokemon in here. But anyways, we're gonna go for it. Welcome to the Pokemon League. I'm Lorelei of the Elite Four. No one can best me when it comes to icy Pokemon. Freezing moves are powerful. Your Pokemon will be at mercy when they are frozen solid. Ha ha ha! Are you ready? So, Lorelei is no longer an issue. The first time I battled her, I got ridiculously unlucky, to the point where I was visibly frustrated at the end of it. She is no longer a big deal anymore. Because now I have the major level advantage, especially with Electro, and basically, Electro can take down the majority of her Pokemon in just 2 hits. The Dugong will get one shot if it gets critted, but usually it's left in yellow, and it proceeds to then just randomly attack. Or, on rare occasions, it's used Safeguard. Lorelei almost always has full restored it, because I don't know why. But it doesn't matter, this thing is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, regardless of what happens, and if I get a crit, it gets 1 shot. And she only uses it once, and because Shockwave is 100 accuracy, it can't miss. Now the second Pokemon that she sends in is the worst for her because, well, it just gets 1 shot by Electro straight out. She always sends in Cloyster. I say no, and I've just been using Shockwave again on Electro. It's 1 shot it every single time. But it does have Protect, which this is only the 3rd time I've seen it be used, to be fair, but it doesn't really matter. And down it goes. Very, very easy. Right, the next thing she sends out is Slowbro. This thing here is the worst Pokemon that she has, other than the Lapras. This thing is really annoying. It has Yawn. If it uses Yawn, I have to waste a turn using the Poke Flute, and therefore the Lapras gets a free switch in that comes in next. And typically it's used Yawn, which is the one move I was hoping it wouldn't use. Because it's at low health, never mind, she didn't restore it, that is fine. Now, Yawn is annoying because it puts me to sleep, and I'd have to switch out, but if I switch out, I basically lose the Pokemon I switch out to. So I have to keep Electro in here and sadly waste a turn. Now this thing will always use Surf or Ice Beam. It's never used anything else against Electro, and for good reason, because if it uses Thunderbolt, which it does have, it just gives me health. It also has Confuse Ray. You know how much I love Confuse Ray, especially when I constantly hit myself in confusion, which has happened a lot during this training. Now the Lapras is a 2-hit KO now. Yep, case in freaking point. Already hitting myself in confusion, because why not? Out of all the Pokemon that she has, this is the one that always gives me the most difficulty. Because it's a 2-hit KO, sometimes it's a 3-hit KO if I get a really unlucky damage roll. And it can also freeze you, which it has done once. Oh yeah, and of course there's the berry, which is another problem. And I was really hoping Electro would snap out of confusion, but alas, he did not. But thankfully, Lapras is down, which is the most threatening Pokemon that Lorelei has on her whole team. Next up is Jinx. This thing is easy. It can't touch Tachi, no matter what it does. It just loves to use Lovely Kiss. If that happens, I just wake Tachi up immediately, and then it usually hits me with Ice Beam, which does, or not Ice Beam, Ice Punch, which it does nothing, so it's just air. And if Tachi crits, well, it gets one shot, but this is again another guaranteed 2-hit KO, and it's using Lovely Kiss. Okay, no problem, I'll just use the Poker Flute next turn as usual, and wake Tachi straight up. And all it's going to do is use a very silly Ice Punch, because I've never seen it use anything else other than Lovely Kiss and Ice Punch. I genuinely don't even know what its other two moves are, because it just never uses them. You'd think it would have a Psychic one, but it just hasn't used it ever. Yep, see? Every time. Ice Punch. I don't get it. And typically it got a crit. Because, of course it did. But it doesn't matter. And with that, Lorelei doesn't even take down any of my Pokemon, despite having way better luck than I did. I got no crits. She managed to cause me to hit myself twice in confusion, I think, or once. Things shouldn't be this way. Now the next battle is weird. You're better than I thought. Go on ahead. You've only got a taste of the Pokemon League's power. Right, because this is a proper attempt, I'm actually going to be using healing items. So, Super Potion, that's going on Tachi. Okay, I'm fine with missing a bit. Last Hyper Potion, that's going on Electro. Right, first thing I want to do, switch Cole out for Electro in this next battle, because Cole is basically going to be taking down the majority of this. I am Bruno of the Elite Four. Through rigorous training, people and Pokemon can become stronger without limit. I've lived and trained with many fighting Pokemon, and that will never change. Facade, we will grind you down with our superior power. Hoo-ha! So Bruno gave me the most trouble the last attempt. He is still a bit of a problem, but yeah, my strategy that I've come up with works very well and has basically given me I would say a 95% chance of winning every time. Elite Four Bruno will send out Onix to start with. This can just get one shot straight away by either Saint or Cole. I prefer using Cole though, because Cole needs the EXP more, and was the one that is used least in this battle, so Saint was getting more EXP than Cole was, and you can see just how much health Cole has now. It's insane. And look at the special defense. Cole is trying to learn Hydro Pump. That is too risky of a move. It has too little accuracy for my liking. It's basically Thunder but Water type. It just misses all the time. Right, Hitmonchan. You'd think this is where Andy's time to shine. No. If I use Andy against this thing, he loses. So I want to switch in Saint. And the reason why, Saint resists every single move that this thing has, except from Rock Tomb, which is neutral. I want to use Leech Seed. Because this thing can barely hit Saint, unless it gets a crit. Saint basically recovers most of his health back by the time this thing's gone down. See, it barely did anything. And Leech Seed is just going to give me back health. And then the other thing I like to do is pair it with Poison Powder, because this way its health is going down, and if I get very lucky, I'll be able to bypass the potion, because this thing is really irritating when it gets potioned. If it gets potioned, I basically decrease the chance of winning. But one Rock Tomb causes Saint to get outsped by it, which again is no problem. You can see how much its health is just going down, and then I just use Giga Drain because it outspeeds me, and then I get all my health back and just proceed to spam Razor Leaf until it goes down. Now there's a high chance this one will get potioned. Yeah, this is getting potioned. But, like I've said, this is way better than using Andy, who just gets absolutely destroyed. So what I'm going to do is use Poison Powder, because he's using a full restore, which will get rid of the poison. And this way I can put the poison straight back on, and we're basically in the same place again. Because full restore does not cure Leech Seed. Leech Seed is there until you switch out. And see, I'm already back at full health. So, yeah, Saint just does a lot better than Andy does, who... Andy would have a... Well, Andy needs a crit to win against this thing, because every time it just uses counter. When I've used Fly or Aerial Ace. Now, I doubt he's using the second potion on this, but it doesn't matter. It's the next Pokemon that I have the problems with. The next Pokemon he sends out is Hitmonlee. This thing is a thing that Saint can't deal with, and this is the only Pokemon that Andy can actually win against. But even then, it's only a 50-50 chance. But hey, look at that, Saint now is level 3, and he's trying to learn Synthesis. Now here's the thing, Synthesis is a move that recovers, I think, 25% of your health? It's basically... Oh, it varies with the weather. Here's the thing, I kind of like this moveset, and if I get rid of Razor Leaf, the only attacking move I have is Giga Drain. So I'm not going to be learning Synthesis on Saint. Right, Hitmonlee comes out next every time, and it's basically the same thing, but only with Leech Seed this time. So we use Leech Seed. Mega Kick does a huge amount of damage because it's a normal move rather than a fighting move. Saint used Leech Seed, and it didn't miss. That's fantastic news for me, because if this did miss, I couldn't use Andy. And then, there's no point in using Poison Powder. This thing will kill Saint in 2 hits. Unless it misses, of course, which is really rare that that happens, but it's always nice when it does. I basically just spam Giga Drain here, because this is the last time that I actually need to use Giga Drain in the whole of the Elite Four. And this way Saint can get his health back, and if I'm really lucky, Saint can beat the Hitmonlee without having to use Andy. Okay, I'm getting insanely lucky. That's 2 misses in a row that have benefited me. I don't know if that's going to matter, that's going to be very close. It's gone. That's awesome. That is the best ever round of that I've had out of all the times I've done training. So next out is Onyx. That is a hard switch into Lapras, because at this point Saint doesn't have very many moves, and that thing also has Earthquake, which does a lot of damage to Saint. So I'd rather not have that happen, so we'll just use Lapras, who will still take a huge amount of damage, but Lapras does more damage than Saint does. Cole does more damage than Saint. See, and yeah, like I said, Cole has good defense, so even though that was a crit, that did basically nothing, considering that was A, Earthquake, and B, a critical hit. Right, this right here is the one I hate. If Saint is still alive at this point, it goes significantly better, because Saint again resists all of its moves. But the problem is it has Bulk Up, which raises attack and defense. Usually though, Saint is dead at this point. He's fainted, and I therefore have to use something else. I just want to get Leech Seed on, it makes it easier to take this thing out. I've had several times where I've used different Pokemon to win this thing. Usually it's Jolteon who beats this thing. But I'm able to get the Leech Seed and Poison combo. I do not know if this thing has Guts. I'm assuming it doesn't, because it would probably be doing a lot more damage than it usually does. Those of you who don't know, Guts is an ability where if a Pokemon has a status move like Poison, Burn, or Paralyze, its attack increases by a fair margin. I think it's by 2.5 times, it's probably more. But yeah, this thing is definitely the biggest problem, but I'm not too worried about it this time, because first of all, it's poisoned, and it's the last Pokemon there. Even if he uses a full restore, which he probably will, I'm just going to send Electro in and finish it off. I can't use Andy, he's raised his defense twice. And he missed again. That didn't matter though, that was not going to kill Saint unless he got a crit. Yeah, he's gone. So, like I said, Saint is the play for this one. I was just trying to get Andy experience here, and I couldn't even beat the Machamp when I was using Andy, so I just gave up. Why? How could I lose? Because my strategy paid off, and you also got unlucky. My job is done. Go face your next challenge. Right. The next one, though, is where things often go wrong. We want Tachi at the front this time. I'm going to use a full restore on... No, I'll use Super Potions, actually. I'll use 2. Right, in we go. I am Agatha of the Elite Four. I hear Oak's taken a lot of interest in the new child. That old duff was once tough and handsome, but that was a decade ago. He's a shadow of his former self. Now he just wants to fiddle with his Pokedex. He's wrong. Pokemon are for battling. Facade, I'll show you how a real trainer battles. I still argue that Agatha is the toughest of the Elite Fours in this generation, even though she's third. The main thing is because she is the most strategic. First of all, this Gengar has given me so much pain when trying to beat it, because it has Minimize. And the only way for me to win against this is to use Bite. I got very lucky here because Shadow Punch is what I want it to use, because it does barely any damage, and it doesn't cause me to miss. But yeah, Tachi is the main Pokemon I use for this. And would you look at that, level 53, it's going pretty well. Right, because this is an actual attempt, I'm using Electro. If this wasn't an actual attempt, I would be using Coal and just tanking a hit to get experience, but I'd rather, you know, one-shot this. And Electro is able to one-shot this, as I found out, because Cole had fainted on Bruno and I wasn't using any potions. So, yeah, found out that Electro just one-shots the Golbat when it's the only other Pokemon I could use against this thing. Right, this is Henry's one and only use, but the problem here is Henry doesn't win against this thing, because he's underleveled, and therefore is basically just going to get sacrificed, which is unfortunate, but that's how it works. Okay, I'm fine with a defense drop. I'd rather you did that than actually attacked. Problem is, unless Henry gets a crit, this thing ain't dying. Okay, she didn't switch it out. That's a big surprise. Usually she does. But I want to use Earthquake anyways. This is going to be a full restore. Yup. Either way, this is fine, because like I said, Henry can't beat this thing anyways. If he was a lot higher in levels, he would, but I just didn't have a chance to train him. You're going to switch out? There you go. Okay, that's what I was waiting for. I want her to switch out. And the reason being is she always switches out into this Haunter, and this is the Haunter with the really bad moveset. This thing has a 0% chance of winning against Tachi. It can't win. Unless I'm stupid, but I'm better than that. What does this one do? Hypnosis Dream Eater. That's it. That's all it does. That's its attack. So, all I do, Poker Flute, and then it can't do anything. Doesn't matter how many times it uses Hypnosis. Tachi outspeeds this thing now, I believe, anyways. And even if it keeps using Hypnosis, well, it's using moves I'm not. Ah, it used Curse this time. Okay, that's new. But again, that's the only other way it can damage. And although it does do a fair bit, here's the thing. I can just switch out, which I will be, and then the problem's gone. Yep, so I just do the same thing again. Switch out Henry, she switches out Gengar, no big deal. Usually I have at least one Pokemon go down here, but it's probably going to happen again. And this thing might also waste time trying to lower defense. Ah, that's unfortunate. No crit, unfortunately, and Henry's going to go down. She used both her full restores on this thing, though. Would be fantastic if Henry got a crit, but I don't see it happening. Never mind. Well played, Henry, and thank you for your crit, because you've now just gained a bunch of EXP that you wouldn't have got before. Might even... No, not quite. Right, Gengar, again. This thing basically for Tachi to take down. But this is still the same day as the other episodes I've recorded this day as well. I was able to just do the training when I was having lunch. This thing also has Hypnosis, it has Nightmare, and it also has Sludge Wave. And considering this is the ace, this thing is probably the least threatening Pokemon she has. Out of all the aces, because she just tries to use Nightmare. But again, it's the same thing. If you're going to put me to sleep, I'm just going to use a Poker Flute, because it's just... you waste your time putting Tachi to sleep, and I just wake Tachi straight up. And if you use Nightmare, then I win. Because you've just wasted a turn. But yeah, this one's usually smarter and uses Sludge Bomb. It just wants to stop me attacking this frequently. But, problem is, it outspeeds me. If it does take down Tachi, no problem. I'll just use a Revive at the end of the battle, and then I'll use Electro to finish it off, because Electro outspeeds everything. But either way, Hypnosis is not guaranteed to hit, it's just a matter of time. But yeah, I reckon she will take down Tachi, because... yeah, there we go. She did the smart thing there. I don't know why she just doesn't use Shadow Ball from the beginning, but that's the first Pokemon I've had that's fainted the whole time. Now, if I'm being really risky, I would use Andy or... not Henry. We're just going to take it out, though. I'd rather not get stuck on this thing any longer than I need to. And Electro just gained another level. Oh my, you're something special, child. You win. I see what the old Duff sees in you now. I've nothing else to say. Run along now, child. Not just yet, because I'm not going in down a Pokemon. Where are my revives? Not my max revive. I could just use... I'll use the max revive in a battle. Better to use a regular one here. Right, Tachi's back. But yeah, you can see how I've just neglected the team members that weren't really helping me that much. Andy just fainted all the time. We use a full restore as well. Bit of a waste, but it is what it is. Do I still have super potions, actually? Oh yeah, I do. I have loads. And we can just use that on Henry. We'll use another one just so he's at full health, because this battle is where I haven't really got a strategy. At this point, I have 2 Pokemon alive at max. I know who to lead with, though. That's Electro, because the next trainer starts with a Gyarados. Right, but anyways, so this is the last one of the Elite Four. We definitely haven't seen this guy yet on the playthrough. Ah, I've heard about you, Vasard. I lead the Elite Four. You can call me Lance the Dragon Trainer. You know that dragons are mythical Pokemon. They're hard to catch and raise, but their powers are superior. They're virtually indestructible. There's no being clever with them. Well, are you ready to lose? Your league challenge ends with me, Vasard. This is a lot harder than it used to be, because in Generation 1's Red, Blue and Yellow, there was no dragon move except from Dragon Rage, which only does 30 damage. Because this is basically a Gen 3 version of Gen 1, this thing now has lots of Dragon Stab. Right, anywho, we're leading with Electro, because Gyarados 4 times weak to Electric, and therefore just instantly dies. That's 1 Pokemon gone already, and it cost me 1 move. Right, Dragonair. Electro absolutely struggles against these. Cole, in you go. This is the battle that I wanted Cole for the most, because dragons are weak to dragon and ice. Oh, you outspeed it this time. Usually Cole doesn't outspeed this, but it doesn't one-shot it unless I get a crit. Ooh, a freeze hacks. That is incredibly rare, but it defrosted instantly. Typical, eh? And it used something that would give it a block it from status moves. But this is really, really good news for me, because the fact he used a full restore on this is huge. He never used one on here before. He's always saved it for his stronger Pokemon. And the other good news is I outspeed, so I'm just going to use Body Slam and get rid of this. So he basically just wasted that. And Cole took no damage. Right, Aerodactyl. This is a rock flying type. It doesn't have anything good against Jolteon, but I believe it does have a fighting move. I don't remember. I one-shot this thing with Electro last time I battled it, so I'm going to do it again. I don't think I will one-shot it this time, because I got a crit last time, but we'll see. Yeah, not quite. But it threw, because I'm still most likely going to outspeed you. I wouldn't say for certain. Aerodactyl is fairly fast. Yeah, never mind. But Hyper Beam is a bit of a scary move because it does a lot of damage, but when I'm the higher level Pokemon for once, it's a lot better for me. There we go, 2,500, and next up is a second Dragonair, which, this one's more problematic. This one is stronger, and it also has a more scarier move. And I believe this one is faster. But it wishes to use Safeguard again, for some reason. He just wasted that. Oh my gosh, Lance. That was a massive throw. The first time I battled you, you were not messing around. You kept using full restores on the Pokemon I didn't want you to. You didn't even use them on the Dragonairs. And he's Hyper Beamed as well, which means that, well, he's dead. Hyper Beam takes 2 rounds to recharge, by the way. I don't know why he didn't use Outrage. That's what he should be using. It does more damage. But I'm not complaining. I'm having a very easy time. And last up is Dragonite, which is the fully evolved Dratini line. The only dragon line in the whole of Generation 1. There's Outrage. That might one-shot Cole. It does. Oh no, not quite. It does a fair amount, but the problem with Outrage, he's locked into using that now. He can't change his move. And Cole, you served me well. You got a quick claw, I think, because there's no way you would outspeed that. Never mind. Cole, you're an absolute powerhouse. This is why I get the Lapras. It's such a useful Pokemon. That's it! I hate to admit it, but you are a Pokemon Master. With that, I get 6,000 Pokedollars for winning. I still can't believe my dragons lost to you, Vasard. You are now the Pokemon League champion. Or, you would have been, but you have one more challenge left. There is one more trainer to face. His name is Chris. He beat the Elite Four before you. He is the real Pokemon League champion. And yeah, our rival is now the champion. So yeah, the final battle we have is with our rival. If we beat our rival, we become the champion and beat the game. If we lose, we have to do this all again. I believe he leads with Pidgeot, so we're going to stick with Electro at the front. And there he is. Hey Vasard, I was looking forward to seeing you, Vasard. My rival should be strong to keep me sharp. While working on my Pokedex, I looked all over for Pokemon. Not only that, I assembled teams that would beat any Pokemon type. And now, I'm the Pokemon League champion. Vasard, do you know what this means? I'll tell you. I am the most powerful trainer in the world. And there we go. One final time, we're taking down Chris. Who is now champion Chris. And yeah, he leads with a Pidgeot. So his team, level 60s. He also uses 3 full restores if memory serves. But, between you and me, I'm very confident that we've got this. Feather Dance is fine, because he will most definitely be sending out something that Electro does not match up well against, so I'll just switch out anyways. Yeah, Rhydon. Okay, that's fine. Cole, out you go. And just so you know, if I do a future Pokemon game, let's just say that my rival from this game is going to basically be named after one of the Pokemon. Because it's fitting. Anyways, Rhydon down easily, 4 times weak to water, that thing didn't stand a chance. Executor. This is the one thing that Andy was actually going to benefit against, but Tachi is just better in any way, shape or form. I can also use Henry because he has Mega Horn, which is a risky move, but it will one-shot it. Or maybe not. But I'm using Tachi. I'd rather, you know, play it safe. This is the only... Actually, that's not true. Use Flame Wheel. Not quite a one-hit KO, but that is good range. Sleep Powder. Fine with me. We'll just use my age-old 1-2 Poke Flute. Like I've said, many people just don't use this thing, and I don't know why. Egg Bomb, that's going to do a fair bit. Also, if you're wondering, Extreme Speed has been extremely useful, pun intended. It's thanks to Extreme Speed that I was even able to train Tachi up in the Elite Four. Gyarados. Now, if this was the real Chris, by the way, the one who I named the rival after, he would have not had a Pidgeot on his team. He would have probably had the Gyarados, but not the Pidgeot as well, because he doesn't like having 2 of the same type on his team, even if it's dual typings. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that when I start uploading this playthrough, he's doing his own, well, not recorded on YouTube like this, but he's also going to play the game along with me. And he knows what team he's using. Right, the Alakazam is honestly the most threatening thing here. And this is where Extreme Speed will be going in, because Bite just doesn't do damage. So I'll just use Extreme Speed to just get damage on it. There's a very high chance that Tachi will go down here, but that is to be expected. Never mind. That's just how strong my team is now. And Chris's last Pokemon is the Charizard, where it all started. However, I do not think that Cole can one-shot this, or definitely can't one-shot it. I do not think that Cole can actually take down this thing. That is fine. I'm going to whittle its health down with Cole. Or he could go for a Fire Miss. That's fine with me. Does he not have Thunderbolt? Well, he just loses, I think. Even though he's got a Citrus Berry. Fire Blast worked that time, but Lapras has got so high special defense that I reckon Cole will tank this. Cole is going to faint though, unless the Quick Claw activates, but I don't see that happening. Oh, right. He hasn't used any of those, so we're going to be here a little bit longer. Okay, that is going to be Cole fainted, but that is no problem to me. That is the first one of my team that he's actually defeated. Electro has a super effective move as well, which can easily get rid of him. And Electro is also really fast, so he's not winning. And there it is. That is the end of the Elite Four. And with that, we have just taken down our rival for the last time. Player defeated Champion Chris. No! That can't be! You beat me at my best! After all that work to become the league champ? My reign is over already? It's not fair! Why? Why did I lose? I never made any mistakes raising my Pokemon. Darn it! You're the new Pokemon League champion! Although I don't like to admit it. Facade. So you've won, sincerely, congratulations. You're the new Pokemon League champion. You've grown up so much since you first left with Bulbasaur to work on the Pokedex. Facade, you have come of age. Chris, I'm disappointed in you. Wow, that's brutal from his own grandfather. I came when I heard you'd beaten the Elite Four. But when I got here, you had already lost. Chris, do you understand why you lost? You've forgotten how to treat your Pokemon with love and trust. That is not true, by the way. The rival in the anime looks after his Eevee so nicely. Without them, you'll never become a champ again. Facade, you understand that your victory was not just your own doing. The bond you share with your Pokemon is marvellous. Facade, come with me. It's weird saying my own channel name so many times, but there we go. Congratulations, Facade. This floor is the Pokemon Hall of Fame. Pokemon League champions are honoured for their exploits here. Their Pokemon are also recorded in the Hall of Fame. Facade, you have worked hard to become the new League champion. Congratulations, Facade. How many times are you going to say my name? You and your Pokemon are Hall of Famers. And with that, put them in. And we get a nice little... We've got Electro the Jolteon, Cole the Lapras, Henry the Nidoking, Saint the Venusaur, Andy the Pidgeot, and lastly Tachi the Arcanine. and welcome to the Hall of Fame. This is usually the team I have when I play through Fire Red, so... League Champion, congratulations, and nearly a full day of real time. And with that, we now have the credits. So, even though I'm titling this the finale episode, there are going to hopefully be a couple of bonus episodes where I go show just 2 things off. These will go out immediately, one after the other. But anyways, I would say that this playthrough was pretty good for the long run. And I've just realised... Oh no, I did give hints in the other episode, never mind, for what my next one is. I hope there won't be as big of a gap between this one and the next one, because 3 weeks is quite a while, but I can't say for certain. It depends how long it takes me to record the rest of the next playthrough, because it's not quite done. It's been in the works for months. It has genuinely taken a long amount of time for me to record it, and I don't want to give too much away, but you'll realise very soon why it is when the first episode is out. And the other thing that I want to mention, because this video will be out first, I sound a lot different in the earlier episodes of it, because I was actually recovering from COVID during the beginning of that playthrough. So if you're wondering why my voice sounds a lot different, I also recorded it before I'd figured out how to make my mic louder, so I'll also sound a bit quieter in the first few episodes. But we'll get to that when we get to it. At the time of recording this, first episode of this isn't even out, and I've got a ton of thumbnail editing to do because I want each one in a very specific way. New Super Mario Bros. New Super Mario Bros. Wii's thumbnails was a little test to see if they worked right, and they did, so now that I've got them working correctly, I want to put a bit more effort into them to make them stand out a little bit from previously. But for those of you who stuck around with this playthrough, I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did recording it. There were a couple of points in the game where I did get quite annoyed, but it's inevitable with Pokemon. Things will not go your way. I still love this franchise and definitely plan on doing Generation 2 at some point. If I'm going to be doing Generation 2, it will be Heart Gold, so it won't be straight away. It will be, I would say, a good long time in the future, and Heart Gold is much, much longer than this one. So don't expect me... So this one's going to be 49 or 50 episodes. It depends if I can get the bonus episode squeezed into one, but I don't think I will. I think I'll just do it in 2 episodes just to be safe. I'm not going to be doing the first line where I go rebuild the Pokemon Nexus. The main reason is I really don't want to have to go around in Dotted Hole again like I did in my randomizer, Archipelago randomizer of this that I did about half a year ago at this point. Because it was very, very annoying that I had to go through a maze to get a key item just so that my best friend could beat the game. But I will be doing Generation 2 at some point, which will be Heart Gold version, because not only is that... Actually, that's a lie. I have Crystal version as well, but Heart Gold is just better. In every way, shape and form. And then, after Generation 2, it will be Generation 3, where I'll go to Pokemon Emerald, because that's my favourite Pokemon game of all time. We have the end. But don't expect me to do another Pokemon playthrough for at least the end of the year. The earliest I plan on doing Generation 2 is at the end of, or at the beginning of 2026, but I doubt it, because I've already got the next 3 games, next 3 games I plan on doing a playthrough of after this one's sorted. Right, anyways, if we go back to our profile, we know what we did previously. We're now back in Pallet Town, and Professor Oak is here to greet us. Ah, Vasard, you're back, are you? How much have you filled your Pokédex? May I see it? Let's see, you have a pitiful 27. It looks as if you're putting in an honest effort. When you manage to fill it some more, come show me, please. Not doing that. I do not have the time nor patience, and just going to save my game real quick. And that is going to be it for my Pokemon Fire Red playthrough. I will catch you tomorrow for the first of the bonus episodes. And I hope you all enjoyed this series as much as I did. I look forward to all the comments saying that I had a skill issue when I lost to my rival at the beginning of the episode, but that is expected. I also look forward to all the people who said that I had a skill issue in the Elite Four. Again, valid, I did. My team was underleveled as heck, and I didn't train it well enough. But I'm just going to leave the screen one more time, just so I can look back later on in life and just remind myself of this really enjoyable playthrough, as well as this awesome team I made. Every single one of these, by the way, are named after a friend, except from Electro, but I always have a Jolteon in every single playthrough, and I'm going to be calling it Electro in every single one. There is one generation I won't have a Jolteon because you can't get an Eevee in it at all. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and hope you have a fantastic day. I will see you guys in the next playthrough, or the bonus episodes, depending on which you choose. See you guys then.